Good morning. Let's come to order and go on the record, please. I'm Charlotte Mitchell, Chair of the Utilities Commission, and with me this morning are Commissioners Duffley, Hughes, McKissick, Kimwright, Brawley, and Tucker. In compliance with the State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the Commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire at this time as to whether any member of the Commission has a known conflict with respect to matters coming before us this morning. The record will reflect that no conflicts have been identified, so we will proceed with Public Staff Item 1.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tommy Williamson with the Public Staff Energy Division. Item 1 includes applications from Dominion Energy, North Carolina to close 7 energy efficiency programs and withdraw the associated rate schedules. The company proposes to replace each of the 7 programs with other programs that have been approved by the Commission that offer substantially the same measures and incentives as the corresponding former programs. The Public Staff has reviewed the applications and recommends their approval as filed with one exception. The company has requested the effective date to be July 1st in the order, and the Public Staff does not oppose that effective date. Thank you.
Move approval of the staff recommendation with the changed effective date.
All right, it's moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the Public Staff, reflecting the July 1 effective date. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Item 2 is an application from Duke Energy Progress for approval of a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity, and motion for a waiver of notice and hearing to construct approximately 0.3 miles of 230 kV transmission line in Hope County, North Carolina. The Public Staff has reviewed the application and recommends approval of the certificate and granting the motion for waiver and notice and hearing as filed. Thank you.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an aye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Williamson. All right, Public Staff Item 3.
Good morning, Commission. I'm Evan Lawrence with the Public Staff's Energy Division. If the Commission allows, I will present items 3 through 7 together.
You may do so. Go ahead.
Each of these items consists of an application for a CPCN for construction of solar generating facilities and registrations for new renewable energy facilities. The Public Staff has reviewed the applications and determined each to be in compliance with the requirements of NCGS 62-110.1A and Commission Rule RE64. Further, the registration statements contain the certified attestations required by Commission Rule R866B, and therefore the Public Staff recommends the Commission issue the requested certificates and accept the registrations.
Move approval of Public Staff's recommendation on items 3 through 7.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate with an aye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. All right, Public Staff Item 8.
Good morning, Evan Hauser, engineer with Public Staff Water, Sewer, and Telephone Division. Items 8 and 9 for your approval are the proposed orders scheduling hearings, establishing discovery guidelines, and requiring customer notice for the general rate case applications filed by Water Quality Utilities, Inc. in docket W-1264, subs 7 and 8 for their Willow Valley and Yanalasi service areas in Watauga County. Public Staff recommends that the Commission issue the proposed orders.
Move approval of Public Staff's recommendations for items 8 and 9.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that items 8 and 9 be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Public Staff Item 10.
Item 10, filed by DFHC Corporation, Inc. is a verified petition pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 62-133.11, requesting authority to amend DFHC's tariff to pass along the increased costs of purchased water service from the city of Greensboro and sewer services from the town of Jamestown. The public staff corrected a rounding error in page 1, paragraph 2, which stated that the city had increased its rates by $1.30 per 1,000 gallons. The corrected increase is $1.29. A corrected proposed order was provided to the commission staff, and the public staff has reviewed the petition and recommends that the commission issue the corrected proposed order approving the tariff revision.
Move approval of public staff updated, corrected, proposed order.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff, including the correction noted from the stand. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Public staff, item 11.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Sashi Bhatta, engineer with the Public Staff Water, Sewer, and Telephone Division. Item number 11 is regarding docket number W218 sub 611, Aqua, North Carolina, request for tariff revision. On June 20, 2024, Aqua, North Carolina filed a verified petition with the Commission pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 62-133.11, requesting authority to amend its tariff for the purpose of passing along to its metered water customers in Pear Meadows subdivision in Wake County, North Carolina, the increase in cost of purchasing water from the town of Fuquay-Varina. The public staff has reviewed the petition and recommends that the proposed order be issued approving the proposed tariff revision.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Question or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Bada. We will move on to public staff. Item 12.
Good morning, Lindsay Darden, engineer in the Public Staff Water, Sewer, and Telephone Division. I'll be presenting agenda items numbers 12 and 13 together. Items 12 and 13 filed by Plurus Hampstead and docket numbers W-1305 subs 32 and 34 are applications for a certificate of public convenience and necessity and for approval of rates to provide sewer utility service to South Topsail Elementary School and Edens Lane subdivision. The public staff recommends that the commission issue the proposed orders granting the franchise and approving the requested rates in both dockets.
Move approval of staff recommendation for items 12 and 13.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the items be approved as recommended by the public staff. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Darden. All right, public staff, item 14.
Chuck Junis, Director of the Public Staff Water, Sewer, and Telephone Division. Item 14, docket number W408 sub 9, Carolina Water Service, Inc. of North Carolina, filed a verified motion requesting approval of the first increase as the emergency operator for nearly 10 years in the monthly provisional emergency water rates and charges applicable to customers formerly served by Cross State Development Company. Approval of a monthly per customer financial operating deficit surcharge in the amount of $5 and approval of the company's proposed changes in emergency operator accounting procedures. Public staff has reviewed the request and recommends that the commission issue the proposed order.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
Second.
All right, Mr. Junis, question for you. Did you just indicate that Carolina Water has served in this capacity for this particular system for 10 years?
Nearly 10 years. Yes,
Nearly
ma'am.
10 years. If Carolina Water were no longer willing to serve in this capacity and ask the commission for permission to be released and the commission hypothetically were to agree, what would happen to this system?
That is a very difficult question. It is, unfortunately, either the community members would be forced to find a way to continue to have the system operated. It would be very unfortunate. They'd
How-
like
how
to
would
be
the commi-
without.
I'm sorry, Kayleen. Mr. Junis, repeat your sentence.
They would likely be without service.
And Mr. Junis, if Carolina Water were not here how would the community pay for service, assuming they wanted to continue to be served?
Yeah, I mean, with the deficit that's been incurred here, it's very obvious that it would be extremely challenging for this community to continue service, especially given the catastrophic natural events that have occurred at the system over the years. You know, it's every 2 or 3 years, the bridge gets washed out that includes the water main that supplies this system. And so those are major repairs. They've had to haul in water at a high cost. It would not be sustainable by this community alone.
Can you help me understand how many customers are served here?
Off the top of my head, I think it's a couple hundred,
Okay,
just short.
okay. All right, any additional questions or discussion before I call for the vote? All right, hearing none, we've got a motion that's been seconded to approve the public staff's recommendation. All in favor indicate with an aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Junis. We
Thank
will
you.
move to item 15.
Item 15, docket numbers W354, sub 411, and W1148, subs 20 and 22. Carolina Water Service, Inc. of North Carolina submitted a verified compliance filing requesting approval to implement surcharges to recover the lien release regulatory asset, the due diligence and transactions cost regulatory asset, and the unrecovered operating revenue associated with the transfer of the water and wastewater utility systems and public utility franchise serving the Mountain Air Development in Yancey County, North Carolina. Based on feedback from commission staff, Carolina Water Service and the public staff are agreeable to minor edits and 2 additional ordering paragraphs addressing the final financial accounting report and the release of the forfeited bond, which I believe the commissioners have. The public staff has reviewed the request and recommends that the commission issue the proposed order as modified, approving the surcharges and requiring customer notice.
Move public staff's recommended order with modifications.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff with the corrections noted. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Junis.
Thank you.
All right, the commission has before us our minutes from the July 8th staff conference for approval. I'll take a motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that those minutes be approved. Any questions or discussion there? All right, all in favor indicate with an aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. All right, before we adjourn, any additional business for the commission this morning? Okay, hearing none, will be adjourned. Thank you very much. Let's go off the record, please.